Come on, Fitzy.
Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It's 11 a.m. August the 9th, 2024. We are live. As always, this is not a pre-recording. I am not an AI voice. I am here to bring you, hopefully, all the news in 1 hour on crypto. And of course, make sure that you don't fold in, you don't give up. We are still not halfway through the journey to all-time highs. It's Friday. I am absolutely shattered, so I'm going to try and be as upbeat and positive as possible. We are going to go through a lot of charts today. We're going to go through the death cross, the bear trap, funding rates, but updates. What could that be about? Sol has been patched. Oh, Lambo is, of course, the headline of the day. Best buys. The theme of the show today is bear bruises. Did we finally get one over on the bears, or are they still waiting for us at $61,500? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Good morning to Mags, Drop Dead. Packer is in chat. Packer is cheating because he is in New Zealand. Therefore, he is ahead of us. We should ask him what the football scores and the rugby scores are, but we won't. Not on this stream anyway. So we're going to get going. First of all, let's start with the markets. The market cap is back up to a healthy 2.13 trillion. That's up 5%. Volume just under $100 billion. Bitcoin dominance and ETH dominance coming in just over 71%. That really hasn't changed in absolute weeks. And I cannot believe that the Fear and Greed Index has shot up to 56. I can't get over that. Man United 0, Liverpool 3. It was a friendly and half the Man United team were missing. You can't claim victory there. Good morning, or should I? Yeah, good morning, Eugene, in South Carolina. I have to say, we have some exotic followers around the world, but South Carolina, it has such a nice ring to it. It really does. I know we have New Zealand, which is obviously the home of the Hobbits. On board, and we have people from Portugal, which is obviously another beautiful part of the world. But South Carolina's just got a nice ring to it. I don't know why. Let's have a look at the markets then before we get going. There is a poll question today, by the way. The poll question is very simply, the weekend price action, is it up or is it down? 70% so far say it is up, 30% say it is down. So Bitcoin coming in at 61.1. How about that? 61.1. Ethereum coming in at roughly $2,700. BNB back over $500 and also back into fourth place. But look how close BNB and Solana are. You cannot get a hair between them. 74 0.46 billion and 74.31 billion. Incredible. And Drop Dead, I won't keep saying that word, Drop, has admitted to being Kim Jong. Well, I don't know. Let's see if I can give you some tips today. XRP is still holding on to its 60-cent mark. What is up and what is down? Sui, probably on the news of Grayscale, is up a whopping 30%. I am going to be honest with you. I bought Sui a long time ago. I'm not sure when I bought Sui, but I bought it a long time ago. I am probably going to sell out of Sui. I only have a small bag. I don't know what I've got, $300, $400, $500. I am probably going to sell it. Much as I like the project, I like the team. I've reviewed Sui. I like what they're planning. I think they're all, are they all ex-Meta? They have hundreds of millions of investment, but I think it is a 2029 bull run coin. I don't think they are going to be fully developed by the end of this bull run. So I'm probably going to wait for it to move up, and then I am probably going to sell it. Drop is putting things in chat that I can't read out. Celestia is up again. I'm not touching Celestia. Helium is up. Brett. Now, I made a short 2 days ago. I gave you 3 coins to buy in that short, and they were my 3. I don't know how to what to call them. They were 3 picks. I'm going to show you now, actually. They were 3 picks for the bull run if you want to hold meme coins, because Drop has just mentioned that it is funding his nefarious ways. Now, it's easy for me to sit here and say buy Doge, buy Shiba, and buy Pepe. They're already at multi-billion-dollar market caps. What I did, and they're still kind of in the same range, I have picked Brett, Popcat, and Mew. And the reason I've picked those, if you look at the market cap, Brett could possibly hit $10 billion, as could Popcat, as could Mew. That is a 10 to 20x gain. I am not expecting Doge, Shiba, Pepe to do 10 to 20x's. So when you pick your coins, when you pick the meme coins that go into the tiny fraction of your portfolio, look at how far they can go. Bonk isn't in there either, because Bonk is at 1.5 billion. Floki 1.25. I've tried to pick 3 coins that I think are sensible picks, but also the ones that have legs. Now, of course, you will know from the screen that the Mew is sponsoring the channel. That doesn't mean I had to pick it in my short. I could have picked Book of Meme, I could have picked Mog, I could have picked Ponke, but I do think the team behind Mew, the team behind Popcat, and the team behind Brett are going to do fairly well. Good morning, Chris. Welcome to the stream. So that is why I have picked them. And again, they are doing exceptionally well. So Sui is up, Celestia, Brett, C, say, BitTenza is probably also up on the news of Grayscale. I'm not overly impressed by the news from Grayscale, to be honest with you, but there we go. And not a lot of losers. Brett has already hit $1 billion. Yeah, I think when I reviewed it, it was 890 million. I was saying to somebody in Telegram today, if you'd have bought those 3 coins when I brought my video out, you'd be up 30% already in 2 days. Now, I know the market's retraced and gone back up, but it's still 30%. Danny is back. Welcome back, Danny. I did see you on the stream on the chat last night, so I did see you. So again, I'm not a clairvoyant. I don't see the future. I've picked coins that I think retraced too much, and now they're going to recover. I do think you could be looking at a 19 or 20 cent Brett very soon. So not many losers. Again, we've had a bit of a green 24 hours. Let's move on a little bit. We don't have too much time because we have a lot to get through, and we try and do this stream in 1 hour. Remember, if you're new here, smash the like button. The fans is 153,400. That's wrong. I think it's a lot higher, but I haven't updated it. I think we're about 153.6, 153.8. So make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. Remember, we are here for you, number 1. And number 2, we we are followed by you. With your following, we can get sponsors like you. We can do sponsored streams and sponsored videos, and it helps keep the channel going, and it keeps me in coffee. Now then, I said this yesterday, and it was good timing that this came out. Yesterday, I told you that the American government will be buying, if Trump wins the election, they will be buying 550 Bitcoin a day for 3 years. I'm going to tell you again, I'm going to keep telling you until you are sick of hearing it. There is not enough Bitcoin in the world. There is not enough Bitcoin for everybody to hold the amount of Bitcoin that they want. Yesterday, the Bitcoins that were taken off the market, 3,376. Okay? Grayscale, which has been tanking for weeks, sold 3,000. Take Grayscale out of the equation, and we are taking 8 times the amount of Bitcoin, being made per day out of the system. What happens when you drain a bath? You run out of water. What happens when you drain exchanges of Bitcoin? The price goes through the roof. It's the same thing. Every time you look at Bitcoin and you say, I don't know whether to buy anymore, just think of that bath emptying. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're in an empty bath. And it gets very cold, very wet, and very damp very quickly. Now, this is also absolutely massive news. I haven't done an article on it because I can't do an article on everything. Russia, I don't know if I can say that word, has officially legalized crypto mining. Get prepared for major growth in global hash rate. Looks like Russia wants to own as much block space as possible. Officially legalizes crypto mining. It is massive. What are we going to do when Russia and China and America all start a Bitcoin war? We don't know, do we? All we know is that we want to hold on to our Bitcoin for dear life. You missed this whole move, Eugene. Everybody missed the move. Everybody missed the move. And I said to the Oracle yesterday, when we were at 56,000, I said, there's no reason for us to be at 56,000. Everything that caused the glitch to the downside has now gone. We are not we're not in a bearish pattern. We should move up. I didn't expect it to happen within 4 hours of me saying it. It can move very quickly. Bitcoin is one of those coins that can be at 50, 60, 50, 60, 60, 65 for 4, 5, 6 months. And then it'll be at $120,000. It's just the way it works. It breaks resistance. It moves up. It forms a level of support. It sits there for months on end. It breaks up. It then retraces 30% several times in the bull run. Just stick with it. Hold the course. Don't fold your hands. Fran says, still the issue there. I think if we'd have seen something, it would have happened on Monday. And then I think Keir Starmer made a phone call, and I know Keir Starmer is not Joe Biden, but I don't think Joe Biden knows what a phone is anymore. Keir Starmer made a phone call and used the line, it would be devastating for your region if you were to make those moves. And I think that was a thinly veiled threat, and I think that's what's held it off. There are a few more people in chat. I haven't managed to open up my chat yet. Let me just see what people are saying to make sure that I am not missing out on anything. Give me 1 second. I'm going to come and see what you're all saying. You can't be talking about too many things like that, or I'm going to get in trouble. Hillary, the polls said Hillary would win. Yes, that is true. Now, I also, good morning, Peter and Packer and Fran, everybody else. One thing I would say about the Harris-Biden thing is that at this moment in time, the polls are showing that Harris is starting to make up massive ground on Trump. And maybe that is because that the vice presidents that they've both picked, Biden's picked a VP, which is very outspoken, JD, somebody, and Harris has picked somebody that everybody likes. I think it's not going to go in the favor of Kamala Harris. However, it's probably a lot closer than it was 3 weeks ago. That is what I would say. Orange Man is all talk. Key points was sign off when he said, have fun playing with your Bitcoin. I think the thing with Trump is this. You don't listen to the details when you listen to Donald Trump. You look at Cynthia Lummis, and Cynthia Lummis came out with the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill, and that's who you listen to. Trump is never going to sit there and give you minutiae details on anything, and neither will Kamala Harris. Remember what Kamala Harris, her favourite line is, what has been does not necessarily mean what will come to pass. What that means, I don't know. It's straight out of Lord of the Rings. It's something that Gandalf would say just to confuse hobbits, okay? The fact of the matter is, and we're going to cover this as well, I think I've got a tweet about it, which I'm going to go through, is the Democrats realise that crypto is a vote winner, and they're going to start, you're going to start to see them being pro-crypto. And that is, I mean, there's loads of other things that haven't included. There's a lot of news today. There was nothing else about it. Now then, let's move on. The moment you see people talk about super cycles within certain sectors, it's time to get out of the sectors, especially after they run up a lot. This likely means the majority of capital is already allocated. We've seen it many times. The best investments are usually not the most comfortable and the most recognizable ones. Now, I do understand where Dan Crypto Trades is coming from, and I have used the word super cycle. And the reason I have used it is that I think that the ETFs and nation states holding Bitcoin and all of that stuff, that's going to break the cycle to some degree. We're still going to have the 4-year halving. We're still going to have, you know, the miners. The cash rate's going to go up. The profitability has to go up to match that. What I mean by a super cycle is that I think everybody's going to sell the top. And let's say the top is 120,000. Everybody's going to sell the top as 120,000, and then everybody is going to wait for a $50,000 Bitcoin, and it will never arrive. I think we could retrace to 80 to 90,000 from 120, and some people were going to miss out on buying back in. And the reason I'm saying this is that the continued demand for Bitcoin is not tied to us anymore. We are going, as the months go by and more Bitcoin is consumed by nations, by the likes of BlackRock, the less influence we're going to have over Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana. There comes a point, and it will probably be in a few years' time, when BlackRock will hold 4 million Bitcoin. And then I think we've pretty much seen the end of these massive 60% dips and 60% retracements. But we are probably a little bit away from that now. She is in her honeymoon period now. She's horrible without a script. I think September the 10th is going to be a defining moment, and that is when Trump and Harris go head to head. And remember, Harris's only defense at the moment and her VP's only defense at the moment is to call Trump and his VP really, really weird. Now, I mean, I'm sorry, but as I said, I've been in politics for a long time. Studied politics for a long time. And calling somebody really, really weird shows me that you don't have any argument against them, because you would start to pick fault in their policies. Kamala Harris has no policies. She wants equity, not equality. Equity is the same outcome. We don't want that. You all can't win the same race. You all can't own the same house. You all can't earn the same wage. And the same outcome sounds an awful lot like the C word, which I can't mention on here. So then, talking of this, a virtual meeting between crypto industry leaders and the Democrat Party officials aimed at repairing relations reportedly turned contentious, according to Eleanor Terrett. Here's what went down. So there we go. So there was a Zoom call held by one of the senators who sought to mend fences during the election year. 20 attendees were present, including top Biden administration officials. Also, Mark Cuban, Scaramucci was there. Democrat donor was there. There was a few people from Uniswap and Ripple. They expressed frustration over the actions by the SEC and the Federal Reserve. It was a replay of last month's roundtable. The execs pushed back strongly against what they see as unfair treatment under the current administration. One attendee reportedly said they basically just got yelled at. Tensions flared over banking access issues, with many crypto firms reporting service denials after the Treasury Secretary Wally Adeyemo told them that banks and regulators were not actively trying to cut the industry off. Good morning, Bullish Bull. When asked, nearly all industry reps raised hands to indicate they'd been denied banking services. Scaramucci believes Harris will gain some crypto support. It's encouraging that these talks are taking place. She's the perfect candidate to be a strong new face for crypto and make a break with the past. Now, again, let me explain the problem. If every time you walk up to the bar to order a drink, I throw a glass of water in your face and tell you to go away, after 3 years of having water thrown in your face, the bar suddenly starts to run promotions and offers because the bar's empty. And they come up to you and say, do you want to come and buy a drink? Would you go and buy a drink having had water thrown in your face for 3 years? No, you wouldn't. Absolutely not. This is the most blatant and obvious cry for help from the crypto industry you are likely to see. This isn't a U-turn. This is them groveling. They've created a roundtable of people they think they can influence. And that is, you know, the Uniswaps, who have been threatened by the SEC, a certain blue crypto exchange in America who are currently being sued by the SEC. Cuban has called them out in the past. And now, let's just make this out, September, October, November, 3 months before the election, 3.5 years after they came to power, they now want to talk to crypto. Now, I know crypto only makes up a small fraction of the votership, and I know only a small fraction of that will have any idea that this is going on. But come on, it's absolutely blatantly ridiculous. I wouldn't have even turned up. They should have stood them up, okay? Because from our point of view, we're in crypto and we want crypto to succeed. There are probably hundreds of millions of people elsewhere that want Harris to win because she will solve their own problems. So of course I'm going to see this from the crypto point of view. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily looking at it from everybody else's point of view. But don't come crying and saying we want to work with you when Gary Gensler has called it the Wild West for 3 years and done nothing but berate Bitcoin, Ethereum, everybody else. Now then, again, you think your life sucks. Somebody just lost $900,000 on RTR, which is a token. Now, I'm going to tell you again, very similar, I'm telling you to buy Bitcoin. Don't buy these meme coins that come out of nowhere. I've made videos about DJT. I called it a scam. It's rugged. I've made videos about Bonk and Pepe when they first started. That price retraced 95%. I made a video about Book of Meme, telling you not to buy it at 4 cents because it's an absolute waste of time and wait for it to retrace. It's been at 1 cent ever since. I'm not a genius. I don't have a crystal ball, but I also can see problems in front of my very eyes. So if a token has been around for 3 or 4 days, if it is not listed on the exchange you are watching this on, if it is not doxed, if it doesn't have sufficient liquidity, if one person holds 25% or 50% of the circulating supply, if it's been flagged by Zach XBT or Carpet Rug Muncher, if all of those things are fine, you still don't buy it. You wait and you wait and you give it a month, you give it 2, you give it 3 months, you wait. There is somebody who claims to have lost $7 million. Their life savings has gone. Never put 100% of your crypto portfolio in one coin. And the only exception to that rule is Bitcoin. It is not Ethereum, it is not Solana, it is not Cardano, it is not Ondo, it is not any AI tokens, and it certainly isn't a meme coin. 1% of your portfolio, at most 5% of your portfolio, you put into your degen portfolio, which is meme coins. Don't fall for this. It's happening all over again, time and time again. Duco, somebody's just left a comment. Let me go and check what that comment says. I can see it on the screen. Scaramucci is still butthurt since Trump. Yeah, that's very true. Right then, so this is the DXY again. I don't redraw these charts. Do I? You have seen, look at that. I mean, it's perfect, isn't it? It's absolutely perfect. Why do we have this? Because we have a trend line starting way back here. Look what we did. We came down and we touched the trend line. I also then put in a level of support that I said we'd probably bounce off, which we bounced off here, and we have bounced off here. What does this mean? In the short term, let's draw a line, shall we? Because all of the lines on this screen look beautiful. I was talking to the Oracle the other day about charts for stocks and currencies, and I was saying how these charts tend to be a lot more telegraphed. They're easier to read than crypto because crypto is so volatile. And I can probably tell you right now that at some point we are going to do this and then hopefully get rejected. Okay, now let's just change this color of these lines. 1 second, so we can all see the beautiful colors that we've drawn. There we go. So what's going to happen is I expect a move back up from the DXY to somewhere around here, which is the bull market support band. Why does that matter? It means the dollar gets stronger. If the dollar gets stronger, then in theory, Bitcoin will struggle. So if this starts to go up, I expect Bitcoin to come down a little tiny bit. I'm not expecting a retracement to $50,000, but expect the DXY to bounce. It was shook out here, and we all know why. Japan went and did something naughty and weed in the corner. That's what happened. Now, again, I said I would keep an eye on this one as well because this is equally as important. This is the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. I've brought it up a few times in the last few weeks. We've been talking about Ethereum being in this downward channel, which it's been in forever and a day. What does this mean? It means if you hold Bitcoin, you will have made a better investment choice than holding Bitcoin and Ethereum. From 2 years ago until today, 2 years ago, you could have got 1 Bitcoin for 11 Ethereum. Today, you are getting 1 Bitcoin for 24 Ethereum. You've doubled the amount of Ethereum you need to buy Bitcoin. However, we had our breakout. Everybody was very happy because the Ethereum ETF should have sent us to $4,000 or $5,000. Grayscale had other ideas. Grayscale will finish selling very soon, and when they do, this is going to do this. So over potentially the short term, we will see the Ethereum price rally better than the Bitcoin price. That's what this chart shows. And again, if you look down here in the past, what happens? We kind of do this. We bounce, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce. We're going to bounce. So expect that to carry on. We should see some kind of 2-week, 3-week period where Ethereum starts to gain. We're probably going to go back above $3,000 for Ethereum. And if not, then Ethereum will do better. So if Bitcoin retraces, say 3% or 2%, then I expect Ethereum to only come down maybe 1.5%. So it's relative. It's Ethereum against Bitcoin. So it's the relativity of Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So that means that percentage-wise, the price of Bitcoin might go up by 2%. I expect the price of Ethereum to go up by 3%. It's very simple. Now, something I don't include on the show. Good morning, Tariq. Something I don't include on the show very often is this. And I also, by the way, I found out where all of our viewers go. I've figured it out. We trade, our streams cross over, I think, with Crypto Banters, because they start their stream about 15 minutes before we end ours. And I think that's where everybody's going. That's what I can imagine. Now, this is showing you the daily, the hourly, the weekly, the monthly, and the annual returns based on tokens. So you can see some absolutely stonking returns on things like Bonk and Mantra, Jasmine, Pepe, Ton, Sol. They're all doing incredibly well. When you look at the last month, we are down quite a lot on some of these coins. 30% on some of the AI coins. I'm trying to see what other stands out here. Not is down. I don't expect that to recover. Lido is down. That's a good price to get it. Render is down. Even on the weekly, of course, we're going to be down a lot on the weekly because this time last week we were a lot higher before Japan did what it did. There's very few gainers, only until we go to the daily and we see what's winning. Brett is up, Sui is up, Tia, HNT. It's a nice way for you to visualize tokens, and it's a nice way for you to see how well the markets are going. Now, in the last hour, it's kind of a little bit of mixed fortune. There's a few things up, there's a few things down. Brett is up 1%, Ondo is up. It's just a nice way to look at it, and maybe I'll put this in a few more times. Now then, 11:30. Good grief. Where does the time go? I might have to get a move on. Now then, there is a death cross which is coming up for Bitcoin. And again, don't be feared or scared off by the term death cross, because if you've ever seen tarot cards, you will know that the skull and crossbones means life, and the death cross doesn't mean either of those two things. It is a time where two averages cross over. That's what it means. Price action looks to be approaching a death cross. One crypto analyst believes it might not be so deadly based on historical patterns. Instead, it could be a bear trap before Bitcoin enters a super bull rally, looking at a theoretical Bitcoin 7-year supercycle. A death cross is a bearish signal that occurs when the 50-day simple moving average falls below the 200-day moving average. So the 50-day is 62.1 and the 200-day is 61.76, and they are fairly close. So if you look on this chart on the right-hand side, you will see a blue line, and you will see, I think that's a pink line. So the 200-day is pink and the 50-day is blue. You can see the blue is coming down to touch the pink. The looming crossover suggests that Bitcoin's short-term momentum underperforms the long-term price, which tends to spark heightened fear. From a historical perspective, the death cross has a poor record of accurately predicting future trends. Let me just highlight that for a second. You will see people trading on the death cross. You will see people saying, here we go, we're going down to $50,000, we've seen a death cross. I've watched a couple of people talk about this, Ben Cowan in particular, and it is much of a muchness. There isn't really a definitive answer. So Peterson has said it's not so deadly. In 2015, it's happened 8 times since 2015, with Bitcoin rallying 67% of the time. So 2/3 of the time we go up after a death cross, and 33% of the time we go down after a death cross. So again, we can't write anything into this. These are the returns and these are the number of times. So you can see 3 times it was negative and 5 times it was positive. Again, death cross, I always used to get excited by Death Cross because I always thought it meant something. And in all honesty, it was a little bit like when I looked at the levels of support that we had on Bitcoin a few days ago. In fact, before Japan, we bounced off support 7 previous times. We held it 5 times and we broke through it twice. So we had a 5 in 7 chance of holding the bull market support band. And then Japan came out, as I said, it wet the bed and we came crashing down. So previous history can only indicate or give you an idea of what's going to happen. It can't predict the future. This instance here, it's likely that nothing major happens and it's a damp squid, and maybe we get a 10 or 20% pump. And if we get a 10% pump on Bitcoin from where we are now, we are back at what, 70,000, nearly $70,000. Do I think that's achievable? Absolutely. So I'm not expecting too much negativity, but I am going to bring up the Bitcoin chart very quickly. I am going to run out of time today on the stream. I know it. I can see it. We are going to run out of time, and I'm going to be here at 12:30 talking to Tariq about Litecoin. I can feel it in my waters. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's just have a quick reminder of what I have been saying, because again, I am not the Oracle. The Oracle streamed last night. We came down and we bounced. We can get rid of that orange line. And look where we came to. What did I say to you on yesterday's stream? In fact, if we zoom in an awful long way, we came to 61,686. And my line was 61,728. So I was out by $40. Now, again, I'm no genius. I said we would find some level of resistance at the bottom of the bull market support band. Now, there are plenty of other lines that we can draw on here to show where Bitcoin is going to struggle. There, 65.2, it's going to struggle there. If we don't break 61.7, for example, where are we likely to come down to? Now, I don't want to be a bearish negative ninny, because you know I'm not like that. But I would say maybe 58.2 would be a good place for us to bounce. And if you look in previous, every time we come up and we fail at something, we come down. We've come up there, we failed, we came down. Is this going to be one of those events where we come down? Possibly. The bottom of this long-term range that we are in, get rid of some of these lines, is coming in at 56.6. I don't know if we've got enough momentum to bring us down to 56.6, but I think 58.2. I'm going to leave that on there. So the lines to look at, 61.7 and 65. Going up and down, 58.3. The longer we get back into this range and hopefully break out, the less chance we have of the scenario down here, which is this 44,000 range, which ties up with where we were over here. So where I was 40%, 30% sure we were going to see that level, I'm now maybe 10 or 15% sure we're going to see that level. It all depends on whether we can break back up and how fast it can take. And yesterday I said that the funding rates had gone negative, and that means we're likely to have a short squeeze. I can still hear you, Mike. I thought you'd gone to sleep, Tariq. Sorry, I thought you came on here for a nap. That's what I thought you did. I thought you sit down, you were going to have a nap. So I think that's going to be the problem. Now, I told you that I'm going to skip one of these articles. I think I told you about the funding rate going negative, which means we're going to have a short squeeze. And that was yesterday. So I'm going to very quickly explain to you the funding rates. I'm not going to go over it in too much depth because I don't want to baffle people. Okay? Now, the funding rate is what people pay. Let me go through the article, actually. I don't want to misquote myself or misquote anything. But the funding rate is important. It's the rate that you pay for your longs and your shorts. So when you think the price of Bitcoin is going to go up, you put in a long. And when you think the price of Bitcoin is going to go down, you put in a short. And that's using normally leverage of 5, 10, 15, 20x. So it's leverage. So if you put $100 in on a 10x leverage, that's $1,000. But you have to pay a fee to have that position open. And that's the funding rate. And that's why I'm going to very quickly show you what this is. So the funding rate is a payment exchange between buyers and sellers on futures. So where is the price of Bitcoin going to be? With no expiry date. This rate aims to ensure that the perpetual contract price remains aligned with the Bitcoin spot price, balancing the market by adjusting the rate. And again, we're not going to go through a lot of this. The funding rate reflects the overall market sentiment. Okay? A high positive rate signals bullish, with traders willing to pay more to maintain their positions. On the other hand, a negative rate indicates bearish sentiment, showing a preference for short selling. Now, you will hear people say, far cleverer than me, that the funding rate has gone negative. Now, when the funding rate has gone negative, that normally means there is a good chance of a short squeeze, i.e., so many people expect the price to go down, which means the price will go up. That's called a short squeeze. And what we've seen today is, what we've seen in the last 24 hours, you would probably consider to be a short squeeze. So for traders, understanding and monitoring the funding rate is vital. It affects profitability, with high rates potentially diminishing the returns. Now, again, it varies across exchanges. We want to get down to these FAQs. A negative funding rate, which is what we had yesterday, is when the futures contract price is below the spot price, suggesting bearish sentiment. In this scenario, shorts pay the longs. Yesterday, this number here, 0.0068, was minus 0.0040. It was negative. Now, when it stays that way for a prolonged period of time, you tend to see the short squeeze. Now, conversely, if this stays high for a prolonged period of time, we will see a long squeeze. And I don't like it being called a long squeeze. It doesn't roll off the tongue as easily as a short squeeze. So the longer this stays positive, the more chance we have of a negative price action. The longer this stays negative, the more chance we have of an upward price action to liquidate those shorts. Now, again, I'm not going to go over too many things, but just let me show you liquidations. And this is why I bring this up from time to time. So CoinGlass, we looked at this. I think we even looked at this on Monday or Tuesday. So if we look at the 24-hour liquidations, you are going to see on the right-hand side here, the 24-hour wrecked. 158 million in shorts have been wrecked. 67 million in long, 225 million in total. Yesterday, which was a fairly neutral day, they were both sitting at about 100 million. Okay? So the shorts and the longs were both not simultaneously, both getting liquidated. When you start to see, like we did on Monday, we saw nearly $1 billion in longs being liquidated. That was from the issues with Japan. When we start to see the shorts getting liquidated or a build-up of shorts, that's when you tend to see the price absolutely rocket. So it's all tied together, and the funding rate and the liquidations are all hand in hand, and you need to kind of keep a lot of things at the back of your mind. Now, the Oracle is going to make himself a tool, which I'm not going to give any details about away. However, this tool is going to provide the Oracle with all of the relevant, pertinent information that he needs and he can look at a glance. And that's going to look pretty cool when it's finished. And it's going to take into account things like liquidations and stuff like that, because fear and greed is also a massive part of this as well. It's the sentiment of the market which you need to have on top of the charts, on top of the macro news. And it's difficult to keep on top of the CME gap, the DXY, Bitcoin, Ethereum, bullish, bearish divergences, funding rates. You've got 10, 12 different things that you need to look at to understand. So that's funding rates very quickly. When it is negative, the shorts are buying, and when it is positive, the longs are buying. And the longer it stays negative, the more chance we have of a short squeeze. That is really all you need to take away from that. Now I'm going to skip the bear trap and Vitalik. Let's have a look at Buterin. Sorry, not Vitalik. Let's have a look at what Buterin's got to say. And then we'll have a look at the Ethereum chart as well, because there's some interesting figures that we need to get to on Ethereum as well to help us. So Buterin introduces a massive Ethereum update. Remember, only yesterday, I said, where is the Ethereum roadmap? I know what Solana's roadmap is, Cardano's, what else? Who else had a roadmap? Even XRP's got a roadmap. I went to look and get the Ethereum roadmap yesterday, and it was just a plethora of links to different things. They sounded like it was like Donald Trump. We're going to be huge. We're going to be fast. We're going to be quick. We're going to be cheap. I mean, come on. Let's be a bit more specific. And then, funnily enough, Vitalik has announced a change in the roadmap, which, again, the timing of this isn't wasted on me. You probably listened to my stream yesterday. It was stated in error in a tweet that the M31 binary state layer of Ethereum was switching from 16 to 32 bits. This was clarified by Buterin, who said that it was really shifting from 64 to 32, a significant change which may drastically speed up the proving on the network, leading to better performance. I don't know about this. Added more M31 and binary field support to Zork. Now you can write reasonably performant Stark proving code that runs on your GPU in Python. Below is the full arithmetization of Poseidon. Again, I don't know what language he's speaking here. I welcome others taking this and running with it. So there he's written some code, very nice. Ethereum has had difficulty in spite of these developments. The market performance has been dismal. Again, let's not blame Ethereum for this. It had a great run up. The fate of Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency, was in question. I don't think so. Again, who wrote this? Who wrote this? What is the name of this individual? Armin. No, Armin. Not how it works. The ETF launch has been a damp squid. I made a video about it was a damp squid, and I made a video about why it was going to be a damp squid, and I told you what price it was going to come to, and the reason is that Grayscale have been selling off. If Grayscale didn't exist, the price of Ethereum would more than likely be somewhere in the region of $3,500 to $4,500 right now. But Grayscale is negating the buying power of all the other ETFs. And that will come to an end at some point, but not now. I expected it to be maybe the middle of this week, the end of last week. It's still going on. But we are coming out of it. It's slowing down. And once it slows down, and once $5, $10, $15 million a day are being bought up of Ethereum, the price will recover. So let's not make these assumptions, okay? Let us not make the assumption that Ethereum is on its way out, because that is just utter BS, okay? You don't listen to these people, because these are the same people in 2 months' time that are going to tell you that Ethereum will be $30,000 by 2026, okay? It's just garbage news reporting, clickbaiting nonsense, okay? Ethereum isn't going to go anywhere in the near future. As I said yesterday, the only crypto I would hold in 10 years' time that is around today is Bitcoin. But Ethereum and Solana are making a case for being around in 10 years' time by the fact that they're getting institutional adoption. Now then, let us move on. Where are we up to? I phoned Butterin yesterday after your views on ETH. I see that Drop's got my back. So where are we? Well, again, we're in the same kind of pattern on Ethereum that Bitcoin was in, except that Ethereum has also now broken back into this range. We talked about the range. For me, with Ethereum, we can probably start to move some lines around. That line there is where we need to break. That's $3,200. Are we going to break there anytime soon? No, because we have that level to break, which is $2,900. And you know what's fascinating about that $2,900 line? That's the exact price I told you about in the video I made about Ethereum. $2,900 and $2,600. And blow me, we're at $2,660, and $2,900 is the next level we have to break. Now again, I don't have a crystal ball. I am not clairvoyant. These are not my predictions. This is just what the charts say. That is why the Oracle is so good at what he does, because he reads the tea leaves, he reads the charts. So 2,900 we've got to break above, and then we've got to have a crack at $3,200 to break the bull market support band. And the top of the range is $3,700. It seems a lifetime away, but remember, you see this here? What was that? That was 2,800 to 3,900. That was a $1,100 move. If we do a $1,100 move from where we are, guess where we end up? Exactly where I've just said, $3,700. So Ethereum might look like it's in a sticky wicket, might look like it's stuck, but don't be fooled. I nearly made a really old man joke then, so I'm not going to. Anyway, so Ethereum is back where it should be. That's all good. We've got 10 minutes left. Still got 2 things to go through and some best buys. So we'll get through this. Let's have a quick peek. Solana developers address critical vulnerability with coordinated patch. The developers ensured a supermajority of the network was patched. Okay, so let's get. And I don't know anything about this, by the way. This was an article I added right at the death. So on Wednesday, they contacted the network operators through private channels. They use Discord. That's what they use. Private channels. No, they use Discord. Initial contact was part of a strategy to patch the vulnerability discreetly so it couldn't be exploited. Lane added that the patch made available via an ANSA engineer's GitHub repository enabled operators to independently verify and apply the changes by Thursday at 2 p.m. UTC. Detailed instructions for implementing were distributed, resulting in 66% of the network's stake being secured. The vulnerability was publicly disclosed after 70% had implemented the patch. Then Solana Labs issued a Discord announcement urging all remaining operators to update their systems. Core contributors have identified a network security issue that requires an urgent response. Again, let's just be very clear about this. When you have a vulnerability, you do not go onto Twitter and post about it. You fix it in private. That is the key. You fix it, and then you tell people that you fixed it. Okay? We don't know how the vulnerability was found, and we don't care. If they have a team of white hat hackers trying to break the Solana ecosystem, that's a good thing. The same way that if Cardano or Ethereum or any other blockchain is paying these hackers to break their system. I said this a few days ago when I was talking about back in the 80s and the 90s, when computers and the internet became a thing, hackers were being employed by banks, and the options were you go to prison or you go and work for a bank on a massive wage. And a lot of them went to work for banks because, like I said the other day, you want a burglar to try and break into your house. There's no point asking your neighbour to come and rattle your doors and your windows to see if you can get in. You want a burglar. You want a white hat hacker to crack your system. So if Solana have a team of these working away, trying to break the system, that should be applauded. Penetration testing And the lack of penetration testing is the reason a lot of these smaller blockchains are hacked. They don't have the finances to pay for continual penetration testing. That's why I talk about revenue for blockchains being so important. If you haven't got developers to fix things, if you haven't got developers to build things, and you haven't got money for white hat hackers to try and test them, you're going to get hacked. And it happens. And it's a reactionary way to work. So take this as a positive. Now, we've got a few minutes. I'm going to have a look at this article, and then I'm going to look at some best buys. Maybe we'll use the bubbles this time to look at the best buys. Let's have a quick peek now. Where are we? So then, now again, this is why it's called No. Because Lamborghini and Animoca brands, a new gaming in the metaverse. What language is this? A new gaming in the metaverse? Is it a new game in the metaverse? Is it a new gaming metaverse? Or is it written by AI? There's a picture of a very pretty Lamborghini. Lamborghini has formed a partnership with Animoca brands to create a new gaming experience in the metaverse. A famous Italian luxury car brand is ready to offer unique experiences to its fans and customers. Okay. So the company that promotes digital property rights for gaming and the metaverse has announced a new partnership with Lamborghini. We are thrilled to announce our partnership with Lamborghini. Together we will drive digital vehicle culture forward to shape the future of brand engagement in the automotive industry. New OG, yay, who's the new OG? Let's go down. We are excited to announce our collaboration with Lamborghini. Together we will advance the digital culture of the vehicle to shape the future of brand engagement in the automotive industry. The shared goal is to offer unique experiences to Lamborghini fans and customers. Lamborghini and Animoca together also aim to shape the future of brand engagement in the automotive sector. It's going to be trash. It's going to be rubbish. I don't think that being in the metaverse, driving around a pixelated version of Lamborghini is going to do anything for petrol heads. I don't even think I want to go anywhere near it. If they're going to release a game, is it going to be as good as any of the other games like Gran Turismo out there? Probably not. So what's the point? I tell you what this is. This is a vanity project. And we've seen this with Balenciaga. We've seen this with Dior, Yves Saint Laurent, Nike. They are vanity projects. They all have teams in their companies, and their job is to go and do cool things. You know, like sponsor an event or create an event or partner with a streamer or whatever else it might be. And they've done this. This probably cost them a few $1 million. It doesn't really matter to them, a few $1 million. It's going to be a waste of time. I don't go anywhere near it. I wouldn't touch it. It's going to do more damage to the brand than good, in my humble opinion. And that is all it is. It is my humble opinion. So it looks like it's going to be coming out when? Who knows? Who knows when it's going to be out? Yeah, we'll see. It's just a waste of time. Go and buy an NFT. Why buy an NFT? Why buy this? It's going to be trash. Don't go near it. Right then, the last part of the show, we're going to look at crypto bubbles. Why not? So, over the last few days, since the market correction, I've been looking at different sectors of crypto and saying, what should you be picking up? What should you be buying on the cheap? And we've picked out some AI coins, we've picked out meme coins, we've picked out DeFi coins, real world asset coins we've picked out as well. And it's just to try and think of when, I'm not going to use this by the way, I can't even use it for anything. So what is the way to try and get yourself some cheap-ish tokens? We've seen a retracement over the last week that has pulled coins back from Some of them all-time highs, some of them closing all-time highs, some of them back at support levels, and they've all come crashing down. And that's what we've been trying to pick out. And yesterday, I think I picked out Lido as a possible good one. We've looked at ASI, potential good one. We've looked at Uniswap, again, a potential good one. Let's pick a category. What should we look at? Should we look at, no, we don't look at gaming tokens. Deepin. Let's look at Deepin. Haven't looked at this. So Deepin is decentralized physical infrastructure networks. And this is basically a big fancy word for physically distributed equipment, whether it be data centers, whether it be GPU, farms, whatever it might be. And it's a word for something that's been in existence since there's been computers. And it's not a big, fancy, new, spectacular thing. So when you hear people waxing lyrical about Deepin, I mean, what's a data center? What's a data center in London, in Manchester, in Birmingham, in Paris, in Berlin? They're all data centers, but they're decentralized. The way the internet works, if a data center goes down, let's say there's a fire in the Manchester data center, the traffic will reroute itself from, say, Glasgow to Birmingham to London to Paris. In Scandinavia, there's a really big data center. There's also one in Amsterdam. And sometimes they go down, and sometimes you can't log into your favorite games. Sometimes there is ping. And all of that issue is caused when a data center might go offline for whatever reason, but it reroutes itself. And in crypto, what you don't want is a single point of failure. So when Meta goes down or Google goes down, it's because the cloud has gone down, because it's a single point of failure. And yes, over time, they're going to build it out and it will never happen. But in crypto, there are companies that specialize in this. And that's what we're going to look at. So if we look at the Deepin sector, for example, and we go down and we start to look at some of these coins, we're not going to be looking at some of the coins under 60 million, 57, 58 million. We're not going to look at coins like that. We're going to look at what's down that you could look at. Now, Akash has had a massive pump and it's come back 27% over the last 30 days. So I wouldn't be looking at Akash necessarily as being cheap. I'd say it's retraced back from its FOMO pump. Helium has had a good run in the last few days. It's still down 21%. I'm not a huge fan of Helium. It's like a decentralized 5G network. I'm not a fan of it. A lot of people love it, think it's brilliant. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. So I wouldn't be touching that. What else do we have down here? Render has come back dramatically. That's down 25%. So, and I'm not going to click on this, by the way, because Render will, clicking on it will actually break my machine. So Render at $4.80, what was it in the past? Was it up towards $8 or $9? I think Render's a good price at $4.88. I think that's a good pick. Now, Multiverse, again, I'm not a massive fan, but it is down 23%. So maybe Render, Multiverse, it's got a decent sized market cap, it's got a good chance of running. People do like it, people do talk about it. Multiverse at $27 is not a bad pick. And then finally, let's see if I like any of these projects. Theta, not a fan, in all honesty. Theta Fuel, Hot, not a fan of any of these. Flux, I don't think I can mention that in Peter's presence. And we're then starting to run out of coins. So there hasn't been massive retracements in the Deepin sector. So if we audit by market cap, let's have a look at what the top market cap coins are in here. I didn't just want to go down the list and say buy this, that, and the other, because it's not how I work. Arweave is only down 2%. That hasn't retraced too much. Filecoin, a lot of people like Filecoin, and it is a seriously boring project. Data storage, but recycling makes money. Data storage makes money. Storage makes money. Filecoin will be my third pick. So I would go for Filecoin, Render, and Multiverse. They would be my 3 picks in Deepin if you want 3 picks in Deepin. And no, I can't really sit here and with all clear conscience tell you to go and look at Nodal at 11 million or Luminin at 13 million because they're too small a market cap. It's too risky, so I'm not going to go anything too low. And that's pretty much it for the stream. We are finished 12:03 and I am tired. Right, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you, Eugene, for becoming an OG member. Greatly appreciated. Thank you to every one of you. I am back on Monday. We are having the weekend off. It's too hot here. It's August and it's 30 degrees and I melt. So I won't be back until Monday. I'm probably going to make some videos over the weekend. If you haven't seen my Brett video, before you buy Brett, go and watch my video on it. I have highlighted a few minor problems with it, but I still think it's a good pick for the bull run, and I give you my price prediction for it in the video. That's the Brett video, the Brett on base video. So make sure to go and check that out. Finally, we've had the votes weekend price action up or down. 65% say yes, 35% say no. I think I agree with that. I'm 2/3 up and 1/3 down. So have a great weekend, everybody, and I will see you on Telegram. Goodbye.